What was the incident at your school? A friend's little brother, freshman, stood up in class and killed himself. He had taken the gun from his oldest brother. Their parents had no idea that there was a gun in their home. He had written a note to a girl saying he was going to do this. She went to her parents with it. They took it to the school. The school did nothing. A security guard came across a student blowing another and offered not to tell if they blew him too. Ugh. Way to make my skin crawl. There was a security guard at my high school that was busted for buying used underwear from students. The cover was blown because the parents were wondering where the hell their daughter got this money. We had a drop box organized by many of the popular students where anyone who received nudes would send them there and they'd be saved where select people could look at them. It was upwards of 800 pictures of graphic underage nudity. Eventually someone made a mistake and it got busted. Like 30 kids went down for it and several others got hit with distributing child pornography. It was a mess. Of course when it finally did get busted, the pictures spread like wildfire and every kid in school had their hands on hundreds of nude pictures of a huge portion of students. Mostly the popular and attractive ones. But people from every social group were involved. Some people knew they were in it and some supposedly even submitted their own. Others had no idea it existed. The sexual tension in school skyrocketed far past the already high levels of any high school. Some kids were bullied for their pictures. Others were praised. Kids switched schools. Dropped out. You name it. It was an absolute clusterfuck. Unfortunately many people made backups of it and they're still floating around our town. It's crazy Edit. I'm really surprised to find out how many other schools had something like this happen. People are crazy. It was my senior years. Between my high school and our rival South School, there were 11-13 deaths of students. Primarily suicides including suicide by cop, pretending to hold a gun to get shot, and by car wreck. Kid stole a car and crashed it into another car, died on impact. There was a series of 3 within 1 week. Everyone at the school was really depressed. Students were constantly missing. Had to bring in extra social workers and therapists and teachers basically were powerless to control the student body and got really lax on schoolwork. The school brought in the survivor who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and we cancelled school for the day to go to the assembly and listen to him speak. Kids just sat in the auditorium and cried and just ditched class. I heard it's gotten a lot better but no one from my graduating class talks about it anymore. Friend and co-captain of the soccer team brutally murdered his parents. His mom was my English teacher. This made national news in 93/94. My freshman year of high school. A pretty and popular girl got pregnant by her BF. The BF denied it was his and wouldn't have anything to do with her. She told her mother. And the mother flipped out and kicked her out of the house. And she committed suicide. The Spanish language channel was doing a graveside interview with the father on Live TV. During the interview, the mother showed up to the grave. That's when the father walked to his car, grabbed his gun, and shot and killed her on Live TV. The father ran, but was caught trying to get to Mexico, I believe. Going to school was really sad and weird for a while after that. I didn't know her well, but we shared most of our classes together. And that desk that stayed empty the rest of the year was a constant reminder. A girl no one suspected was pregnant gave birth one weekend. Her father was a police officer and before he could break down the bathroom door she suffocated the child. Teacher was found getting sexual favors from a 9th grade girl who was held back like 3 times. I went to a school for people with ADHD, autism, and other more severe learning disabilities. A year or so later another girl claimed sexual abuse from a teacher who didn't actually do anything. She just was mad because he wouldn't let her keep disrupting class. He got fired and can't teach anywhere but hey way to ducking goat Skylar. This guy was like 60 something and his whole life was devoted to helping kids. She bragged about it being fake and getting him fired. Everyone told her she was a huge piece of it. Edit. Her name isn't actually Skylar obviously, but still guys, this happened like 7 years ago, maybe cool it with the death wishes. Kid found out he couldn't process alcohol at a school party. That is, he found out by dying in his sleep that night. Murder-suicide happened in the middle of the street. Mid-morning. Just a block away from the school. Two brothers. Grown men. One borrowed money from the other and couldn't pay it back. The very next week, someone called the cops about a gang of armed militants marching on the school and everything was locked down for hours. Some little old lady saw the JROTC team doing their parade drills in their usual spot. At the usual time. With their wooden rifles. 1980s in an Australian high school in a country town. Teachers having affairs with teachers and their partners finding out. One partner husband chased a teacher that was having an affair with his wife around the school and punched him. Male teacher having affairs with multiple female teachers at the same time and them finding out. Not bad for a school of about 500 students. Who needed drama on TV? We could watch it at school. Someone set fire to the school which led to us having a longer summer holiday. Legends. For your information, I live in the UK. It seems every school has an arsonist or two. A sophomore in high school was filming up girls' skirts and got caught. It was all over the local news. My last year in high school, a girl whom everyone liked died in a car crash because she wasn't wearing a seatbelt. It broke the heart of a lot of people. The day after it happened, everyone showed up to school wearing blue in remembrance of her. It even started a hashtag called for name of girl. Everyone on social media was posting about her. How much they missed her. etc. It was truly a sad occurrence and everyone seemed to be grieving. Obviously, there were people who capitalized on her death for attention. Exposure. That sort of thing. Posting selfies with the hashtag. SoundCloud rappers using her name in songs to gain exposure. That same year a close friend of mine attempted to overdose in the school bathroom. He was the type of kid people made fun of because he was quiet and seemed like a school shooter. There was no hashtag for him. Edit. This was in Arizona. Friend is still alive. The Fork incident. My freshman year. Two red-wearing gangster kids got into a fight for some reason that nobody remembered or cared to even remember. And the two started a legitimate fist fight. The fight escalated within seconds. And the other kid stabbed the other kid with a fork. For some reason. All the kids for the rest of my high school years remembered the incident. If a kid was gonna get in a fight, some kid would inevitably say to bring a fork. Or give a kid a fork as a joke. A sex tape was discovered between 3 students. Maybe one was filming? Don't remember the breakdown. The guy came in the girl's eye and she was known as Cyclops throughout the rest of high school. Not sure how people saw this tape cause it was like 2004 before smartphones, so it must have been like a physical tape. A ceiling tile fell on a student. 2 students were found having sex in the girl's bathroom and they were both dating other people. In 9th grade we spent 45 minutes in world geography class watching our teacher, who was also the baseball coach, chase a cow off the baseball field. 10th grade English teacher MRS. White forgot the intruder alert drill was just a drill and freaked out and farted quite loudly trying to make a barricade out of desks. No one told her that it wasn't real until the toot. Student had sex with a teacher. Got caught and posted all of the female teacher's nude pics online. Had a couple senior pranks that made the news. One of those nude teacher sites? How terrible. There are so many. Do you know which one? Someone microwaved a cat and left it in their locker. After a couple days the stank was so overwhelming they had everyone in that hall open their lockers. Ended up with 10 drug arrests and 1 smelly ass cat. My high school's principal was caught on tape during a presentation telling girls not to wear yoga pants if they're not a size 1 or 2 because they'll look like sausages. Made it on national news outlets. Edit. The principal was a female. And the only reason I'm not posting a source is to protect my identity, but a quick Google search of the event places you in a high school in South Carolina. So I don't care too much. Thanks everyone. A girl in my graduation class got caught sleeping with a gym teacher. He was fired and she had to leave the school because of bullying. The teacher had a wife and a kid too. Edit. This was in MN and happens a lot more than we think apparently. Bedbugs infested the school. The school didn't notify students or parents till a week after it was discovered. Almost 100 students brought them back to their home. The county ended up paying for the cleaning of all the students' homes and finally everyone figured out which student initially brought the bugs to school. Poor bedbugs Bernie. When the science wing caught on fire. Or when there was a mold issue. Or when nails fell from the ceiling. Or when 1/4 of the building got condemned for structural integrity issues and rust leaking down walls. Too many structural problems to choose from. Edit. Highest rated comment is about my high school falling apart. Nice. Also. No, it was not Detroit, but I did chuckle when it was mentioned. An innocent kid in grade 10 died in a gang shooting last year. Police shootouts in the surrounding neighborhood. It wasn't uncommon to find bullet marks on the outer walls of the building. I miss Puerto Rico. Female teacher gets drunk and has sex with a student on a spring break trip to Spain. When we get back, they don't fire her. She spends the next 6 weeks getting drunk and tries to make a run at several of us. Me included. And X200B. She was not invited to return the following year. Easily. Happened when I was a senior. This longtime couple. Cutest thing ever. But she ended up cheating on him in a threesome and the sex tape was released to school. She was dumped. Spiraled into depression. Attempted to off herself via train. She lost an arm. Her legs. But managed to survive. I don't remember much after that. It was wild. Teacher dated a student. Fairly openly. They got married immediately after graduation. Rural school in the 90s. During the school day, somebody set fire to the toilet paper rolls in the men's bathroom. For some reason though, the school was put in lockdown instead of being evacuated. I guess it was because the fire was relatively small and was put out fairly quickly. But it did send my social studies teacher to the hospital since he got hit by a stall door trying to put the blaze out. Someone clogged the toilet by hitting a brick so wide and solid that it filled the circumference of the toilet hole. Like, it was as wide as a Boston cream donut. And a pure solid. The bloody and used culprit was never found.